It seems that yesterday Mullen Automotive experienced the Lawrence Hardge effect, but will it carry through to today? Hi again, everyone. I hope you're all doing really well. So Wednesday's trade was an interesting one. The stock kind of continues its weekly trend of being rather flat. However, there was a bit of strong momentum returning to the stock in the last, I suppose, half hour, 40 minutes, which saw the stock finish up for the day and managed to hold those levels through the aftermarket. Now, I think what might have been driving that is the fact that the news was getting around of the SEC filing that the 8K form that Mullen Automotive had filed regarding what's going to happen with Lawrence Hardge. So yesterday we sort of speculated on here that, like, kind of Lawrence Hardge, kind of his whole, involvement with Mullen Automotive has actually, generally been kind of negative. It's hurt the stock price, largely because of the way he's kind of conducted himself, as well as, like, any sort of rumors around his technology being actually plausible and working. So I found it interesting that Mullen Automotive filed an 8K form to say that they are not actually doing business with Lawrence Hardge. To include that in 8K, it just sort of seems redundant. But I guess it sort of says that they are, allowing him to use his device in a testing facility on 2 of their vehicles. I suppose you would disclose that because it does put assets of Mullen Automotive at some sort of liability because they are going to be tested on with his technology. The filing has gone and said that they're not going to have any involvement with Lawrence Hardge, which I think is what perhaps gave the stock that late boost, as that sort of trickled into the the market's mind that yes, Lawrence Hardge, we're not going through this sort of soap opera again with him. Now, what would be interesting is if Lawrence Hardge's technology does get tested and we do see sort of maybe a positive effect on, or a positive test, will David and Mullen Automotive consider another partnership with Lawrence Hardge? Who knows? Because, like, in theory, if his technology does what he says it does, and it meets the EPA, approval, it's great. It would be so good for any company to partner with, and if Mullen was involved with that and it worked properly, that's good news for them. That's only going to be beneficial for them, especially if the costings of it when installed in their vehicles isn't that excessive. So people would pay for those vehicles that were fitted with those devices if that is the case, because range anxiety is a big issue among EV car users, and obviously it's a major consideration if it's going to be used in a commercial capacity, because it's going to be out on the road for minimum 6 to 8 hours a day. You want to make sure that it's going to go as far as it's needed without running out of power or having to recharge, which can is known to be a bit timely. And so it'll be interesting to see if anything does develop there. My gut feeling is that I don't think we are going to see that happen, a partnership with Lawrence Hardge going forward. But I think, like, he's like that star player in whatever sport team you have that has occasionally just risen to the occasion, had some absolute blindly great play in a game, and has scored you guys a winner, but does nothing else for most of the time. So, but you keep them in the squad just in case you need that X factor to come. Maybe David is keeping Lawrence in the picture just in case, like, maybe there is some potential here. If Lawrence is to be believed, there is a lot of, big deals on the horizon for his technology. But, the way he's kind of handled himself, he's kind of come out and said he's not going to be as involved with the media, which is probably good no matter what goes down with, Hardge's technology. But yeah, he's kind of, I think his actions last time really hurt MULN Stock, and I think shareholders and David would be very, I suppose, hesitant to, get straight back into bed with Lawrence Hardge again. Anyway, that's that. Really, it's a little bit of a speed bump in a distraction, but I guess, like, the main thing we're kind of looking for now with Mullen Automotive is, we're starting to see vehicle deliveries, production's happening now. We want to see some announcements around, sales and significant sales, because, to me, I believe the orders that they have at the moment, they're going to be fulfilled, by the end of this year, if not early next year. They do need to start getting more sales announced, and I don't know, how or when that's going to happen next. I guess we have to see if there's any updates from, the their sales channels, particularly Randy Marion seems to be the big one. But yeah, I guess that's what I'm looking for as a a shareholder. The stock price is down. It's hard to say whether or not it's going to where it's going to go. It's sort of really stuck at the moment. I think the market's just waiting to see how Mullen's vehicles are received, I think. And if these vehicles being delivered start to be used, no problems at all, I think that's going to be a positive for the stock too. So it's proof of concept really. If the market starts to see, yeah, Mullen's vehicles work and there's a demand for them, that's going to be positive for the stock. So we just got to see just general goodwill grow towards the company, I think, and we need to see more sales. That's what we're waiting for. That's my 2 cents anyway. Obviously, I want to hear what you guys all think. I've got an interesting smattering of comments in my last video around Lawrence Hardge. Some were like, yes, his technology works, which we, obviously the reason why the partnership fell apart was partly because it wasn't proven to work, but, I hope it does work, but yeah. And also had, a range of comments sort of saying that, announcing the 8K is going and I'm full of misinformation. I'm literally just going on what I've heard, and that 8K filing obviously came up after I posted the video, so, take it easy, guys. I know people can be a bit extreme on the internet, so I don't take it too seriously anyway. Anyway, share your thoughts on what you think of the whole Lawrence Hardge chapter we've just kind of gone through, and obviously what you're looking for from Mullen next, and give us some stock price predictions. Do you think we've kind of found a bottom? People like me, not that I'm going to totally listen to what everyone says and base my investing advice on that, but I always consider it. But I'm still have a bit of money set aside to make a third purchase of MULN stock for the year. Just contemplating whether or not it's going to go any lower or not is in my mind anyway. So yeah, share your thoughts on where it's going with the price and everything else all on. I always love to hear from you guys. Till next time, everyone, may the markets trade in your favor. Cheers.